Hey there, this is Jason Eagle for Strategic Healing, your natural health authority, and today we're going to talk about Epsom salt baths. I can't believe I haven't talked about it all this time. It's probably one of the most essential things that I do for myself and I have other people do. It can help with so many different things, not just sore muscles, but it can help with, for instance, if you're having a sore belly, whether you're having, like, say, a gluten allergy or a gluten reaction or a bad stomach from those types of things, having cramps from menstrual cramps, and there's all kinds of other things. So, first of all, let's talk about what an Epsom salt bath is. So, Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate, which is your body is made out of magnesium sulfate. It's made out of a whole bunch of other things, but on a basic level, everything's a muscle. Everything. So I'm talking to you, I'm using muscles. And so what makes a muscle contract is calcium. And what makes a muscle release is magnesium. And so for every contraction, there has to be a release. So contractions are also dependent upon magnesium. So that's when we find people when you've overdone it and your muscle starts to cramp, or you get this burn because of the lactic acid burn. So let's say you decide that you want to get fit and then you go and you overdo it and you're super sore. Well, that's because the muscle has run out of ATP and you start burning up these really bad waste products, and then the muscle gets stuck and then it can't pump the lactic acid out of it and it's stuck in a contraction. So one of the things that releases it is the magnesium. And we can take magnesium. I did a video about taking it, and it takes a while to get it into your bloodstream from taking it internally. But the studies show that taking an Epsom salt bath, soaking on it in it topically, within 12 minutes it gets into the serum, meaning it gets in through the bloodstream, it gets in through the skin into the bloodstream, and goes everywhere where it's supposed to go to. So, how much Epsom salt? People, on the box it says like 2 cups. Not enough. It's not enough to do anything. Softens your skin a little bit, but it's not enough. So, how much do you use? You use 4 pounds of Epsom salt. If you have a regular, say, 60-inch bathtub, and you fill it up, you use 4 pounds. That's going to be about like when you see that big milk carton, which is usually 4.5 pounds. That's going to be the whole thing. And when you, for instance, say you buy it in a bag, and a lot of times it comes in a big bag, like if you can buy it at Costco or something like that, and you get it in a box, usually it comes in like a 6 pound bag. You're going to use probably about 3/4 of it. Don't worry about it. It's cheap. It really is. And then sometimes you can shop around and you can find it at Walgreens, CVS, and all this other stuff, and you can find it on sale and buy it really cheap and stock up on it and get it. So what you do is you fill your bathtub with hot water, not so hot that you can't stand it. You don't want to burn yourself and you don't want to sweat your butt off, but hot enough because you're going to stay in it for at least a half an hour. I recommend like 45 minutes to an hour. Sometimes I stay an hour and a half to 2 hours. Um, um, and I watch a movie or I read books or I do research or other stuff. I make useful of my time. It starts to cool off, and then I turn the heat and add a little bit more hot water, which dilutes a little bit more. But so let's just say you're going to go with, say, 45 minutes to an hour. That's enough time for the Epsom salt to get in. You use 4 pounds of Epsom salt. You can use some essential oils and other stuff to kind of make it smell nice and other things like that. But really, it's the Epsom salt that works. I'll tell you a story about how well it works. Now, I've known about Epsom salt for, God, decades. But I'm like other people, which is I forgot. One year, I kind of took a break from what I'm doing, and I was still doing it. I was still doing it in the healthcare field. But me and a couple buddies, we started up a craft service catering company for the movie industry when it was here in Michigan, when we had the tax incentives. And so we followed the film crew around and we fed them, and it's hard work, hard manual labor, especially in the conditions that we were in. We were in downtown Detroit and we were filming in some old factories, and it was in the middle of the summer, and it was dusty and dirty, and it was like 100 degrees, and it was lugging up, bottles of water on your back, and we were doing 20 hours a day, 20 hours a day for like 5 days straight. And by the time of like the fifth day, third day actually, it was like you wake up in the morning and you can barely move. You're just locked up, and it was like I was in so much pain. And I had forgotten about the Epsom salt. Well, then the weekend came and we weren't filming on the weekend, so I was able to rest. But I didn't remember the Epsom salt. And then we went back on, and it's the same thing. It's like 20 hours a day straight. And by the third day, it was like I really couldn't move. I came, I was lucky to get into the car, drove home. I couldn't move. Everything was locked up. Like people, when you see when they're in, like, say, for instance, a marathon, and they just run out and they seize up, and you're quivering, contracted ball of mass on the ground. That's what I was or that's what I was like. And I remembered the Epsom salt bath. I remembered, and so I took an Epsom salt bath. It was probably about like 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that, and I was gonna have to get up at like, I don't know, like 8 o'clock or something like that. This was a day where I got a little bit more time. So I took an Epsom salt bath. I filled up, basically 4 pounds of Epsom salt, and I stayed in that bathtub for about an hour, and then I crawled into bed and got in bed, and then slept for maybe about 3, 4 hours or something like that. And then I woke up in the morning, and see, the thing is I had done this the week before without the Epsom salt, so I had something to compare with. I didn't have the recovery time. I didn't have anything, so I knew what I was going to feel like. Well, after the Epsom salt bath, I was a new man. It was amazing. It was like the cramps had all gone away. My muscles had relaxed. I was able to like get up and do it again because see, the week before I had done this schedule and I knew what it was going to be like. You come to Thursday, Friday, and you're dead. So this is like a Wednesday that I did it, and it was dramatic. It was amazing. It was more recovery than I had gotten over the full weekend of sleeping and not working and taking care of myself. So an Epsom salt bath can be really, really amazing. You get other conditions where you've got some allergies. You've got some other things. You get conditions where you're sick. For instance, let's say have been in the flu, or you've had something like that, or you've been coughing. That's another thing. You see, people can pop a rib from coughing. I've done it before. We had a bad cough and literally displaced a rib head because I was coughing so much. Or you tear your intercostal muscles. You take an Epsom salt bath when you are in that. It's the same thing as working out. You recover so fast. Your muscles relax. Your intestinals muscle relax. Sometimes you can see when people have, like, say, a migraine, have a really severe headache, or let's say, so sometimes the migraines or these types are it's tension, a tension headache. You got your muscles are too tight and it's squeezing the blood flow, and cerebral spinal fluid is stuck up in your head, and it's like a vice. Taking an Epsom salt bath helps it to drain because it relaxes the muscles. Like I said, with the intestines, if you're finding that you are having, let's say, a food reaction, you take an Epsom salt bath, and then your guts are able to relax. I found that, for instance, the other thing too, let's say for performance, pre-performance, let's say that you are, the next day you're gonna, be in a basketball game, or you're gonna play a pickleball game, or you're gonna take a test. Right? You're going to take, say, for instance, the ACT or the SAT or something like that. Take an Epsom salt bath the night before, and you'll find that the answers come to you faster. The answers come to you because you relax. That's another thing that they learned in studying. Is cramming, like up to the last minute cramming going to help you? No, in fact, you lose. You don't. So if you're going to prepare for a test or prepare for an interview or something like that, the night before, don't do it. Just set it aside and just don't even look at it. Don't even thinking about it. And to see, the more relaxed you are, it's kind of like when you say are thinking of a person's name, or thinking of, oh my God, it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't think about it. And then you walk away and you're not thinking about it, and you're in the middle of a meal or something like that, totally relaxed. And all of a sudden it comes to you. It comes to you when you're relaxed. So again, using this as a tool, if you want to prepare for something, this is the thing of being able to not just relax your muscles, but relax your brain, relax your whole nervous system, and it helps you to perform better, especially with the brain, with the mind. So These are some tips, and Epsom salt is cheap. It's available everywhere. Keep it on hand and use it liberally. So, 4 pounds. I like to stay in for an hour. Get the YouTubes out. Get Hulu. Watch a movie, something like that. Don't drop it in the water. But you'll find that it's not only very soothing, but it also helps on so many other things. So it's a wonderful tool that I really I would encourage you to try it and start using it. And you'll find it helps in so many different conditions, and it's very easy to do. Oh, and the other thing for children, so you got a colicky baby or something like that, you can get in the bath with them and soak in an Epsom salt bath. If you're going to give a bath for a little kid, yes, you're going to drop down the amount because it's less water. You're not going to put it as high a concentration, but it's equivalent to about 4 pounds towards a big bath. So you got an upset baby. Sometimes the Epsom salt bath is very, very helpful in relaxing and in getting them soothing, getting them to sleep again, and getting them to eat and getting them to digest well. You get a baby that's constipated, sometimes an Epsom salt bath helps to just kind of release them, and then they're happy baby again. So this is all humans, and basically this is the way that our chemistry responds, and so we can kind of make an external chemistry experiment and replace what we're deficient in. And magnesium's very hard to get. Magnesium's very available, and so for instance, kale, green leafy vegetables, kale is very high in magnesium. Chocolate is very, like the dark chocolate, is very high in magnesium. But the digestive process, when it goes into the guts, it does not release from the plant-based form very well, or any of the forms. And so you may say you swallow 60 milligrams of magnesium and you're only going to get 5, right? Because the bioavailability of these structures is it doesn't release very well. The plant structure wants to hold on to it as well too, wants to hold on to the magnesium. And so you may take large amounts, but it does not release. So that's why taking it at, like, say, a powdered form internally. But again, the magnesium sulfate in the water goes through your skin and goes directly into your bloodstream. And it really is the fastest way to get it. And it doesn't have to be digested. And all of it goes in. It doesn't get lost. So still eat your magnesium foods, but a lot of times people go, I don't understand. My magnesium is low. I'm cramping, and I'm eating a ton of the magnesium. I'm eating the nuts. I'm eating the seeds. I'm eating the kale and the green leafy vegetables, and it's still not registering because it's not going in. So taking it in a form that is super bioavailable is really the ticket. So till next time, bye bye.